YCS Vancouver is just resolved, and there's a lot of change going on in the market. Hey guys, Otaker back with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the YCS Vancouver fallout for the market. And real quick, ignore the background, just ignore how bright things are. I just recently moved, I'm going through a move and just kind of unpacking. Things aren't quite situated where I want them to be yet, and as a result, the background looks kind of messy right now. But yeah, YCS Vancouver just resolved. We saw a lot of yummy representation. We basically saw that the entirety of Justice Hunters kind of just came through and blew out the competition. Like Maliss, Ryzeal, Mitsurugi, like there were toppings, but you know, they weren't really up there. I believe in the top 4. By the time we got to top 4, it was just Crystron K9, Yummy, and Dracotail kind of holding strong. But yeah, we saw a lot of big names. We saw Triff, we saw Jesse Cotton, we saw Yassine, we saw a lot of people, and a really good deck that made an appearance and had a lot of representation at Vancouver was Crystron K9, and that's a real deck, and we're actually going to be talking about some of the cards involving that today. Before we do jump on into the market watch, though, I have noticed that a great deal of you that watch this video right now are not currently subscribed to the channel, so if you like competitive-based content, market watches, and in-depth guides, consider subscribing to the channel for more. But also, don't forget to leave a like on this video and comment down below what cards I should take a look at in next week's market watch. And if you would like to further support the channel, consider joining my community Discord, following me over on Twitch, and using my TCG affiliate link and my Dually Guard affiliate link. All links will be in the description down below. All right, so let's take a look at Dracotail first. This actually, funny enough, you know, all us content creators were talking mad shit about Dracotail not being, you know, a deck that's going to perform because Spoon wasn't out for the Magistus cards. But sure enough, the TCG found builds perfectly capable of performing, and pure builds are actually seeing a lot more performance, but we are seeing some splashability with like the Shadal package. We're seeing some splashability with like Dragoon. We're seeing K9 getting thrown in. So like there's a lot of versatility, and because of that, the deck is very capable of performing. There is a reason that this deck was the best deck in the format for the OCG for a small time. Now, if y'all remember, the Dracotail cards were fairly cheap last time we talked about it in the last market watch last week, and now they are slowly creeping up. We're seeing Malulu get up to about $12-13. We're seeing Lucaeus get up to $13. We are seeing Bimeta up to almost $20 on her own. Artharion is up to a $7 price tag, and then obviously we have like the high rarity stuff as well. But yeah, the most expensive card is going to be Dracotail 5 mana. It's going to be about $20 a copy, give or take. So $60 for a playset of the best card in the deck easily. Not surprised. I'm really not. I tried to tell you all in the last market watch that if you wanted to play a Justice Hunters archetype, pick them up now before YCS Vancouver caused them to skyrocket in price. And sure enough, here we are, some cards are jumping in price. Still on the topic of Dracotail though, Dracotail is seeing play with Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous. The only application of this card is that it is just a quick play fusion card. We are seeing Dracotail played with like Branded obviously, and you know, if they send the Albion Shrouded Dragon, then she can summon herself from the hand, and again, she's just a quick effect fusion effect, and she doesn't have to use herself, so you can just use 2 monsters in hand to make the Artharion or whatever, and bounce 2 cards back to the hand. Just a very powerful card. The Starlight is still 150. Branded Starlights have never been cheap by any means. The QCR alt art is up to $80. This card has never been cheap upon release. But the secret rares from the Tins and from Darkwing Blast, and hell, even the ultra rare from Battle's Legend Terminal Revenge, all ranging at about $12 a copy. This card was easily like $5-6. I actually am planning on selling my Blazing Cartesias while they are high, so and then I'll buy them again when they're really cheap. But yeah, on top of that, Branded is also seeing support getting revealed with the new Doom of Dimensions, and even the set after that. We are seeing Branded just starting to slowly get more support again, because you know they promised us another season of Branded, and here we are. So Cartesia is once again seeing some increase in price. Cupsy Yummy is seeing a slight increase in price because Yummy's massive success at the YCS, with Triff winning the entire event with the Yummy archetype. Cupsy is really the only one seeing an increase. The other ones did see a massive spike the day of the event and the day of Triff winning, but they have started slowly creeping back down. But Cupsy is creeping up to the $14, $15 mark. We have 2 listings here at about $10, one of which you're still paying shipping. Once these are gone, you're paying about $14, $15, and this card is not getting bought out by any means. It is just creeping up in price because it is the main card of the deck. The rest of the cards that were about $10 upon looking at them last week are actually slowly going down. Snatchy's down to about $8, where it was $10 last time we talked about it. All right, I do believe we talked about Crystron Sulfafnir in the last Market Watch, and we're going to talk about him here again because Crystron saw success. Yassine got top 4 with Crystron K9. This is a very real deck. There was actually a lot of representation with Crystron K9 at Vancouver. He is actually starting to go down. Last time we talked about him, he was about a $7, $8 card. He is making his way back down to like the $5, $6 mark, and that's because we are seeing listings repopulate for this card, like I said they would last week. However, Crystron Smyger is a $4 common, essentially, and I believe this is one of your 3-ofs in the deck. Don't quote me on that, but yep, again, sure enough, Crystron is just moving up in price, and a $4 common is just insane to me. Looking at Scrap Recycler, this is one of the techs that Crystron K9 is using to bridge K9 into Crystron if you don't open Crystron cards, because Scrap Recycler is just a foolish burial for machine monsters. The only one that matters is the super rare from Fist of the Gadgets, a set that nobody opened back in the day because this was just a really bad set back in the day. And sure enough, we're looking at like $6 for the super rare. I do believe the deck is only running one of this because it is for the most part a brick. Like, I guess not entirely, because you can normal summon it and just dump a machine monster to the graveyard and then, you know, full Crystron combo. But this is like the card they're using to bridge K9 into Crystron. Don't ask the specifics. You're gonna have to look at like a topping list on how. I just know that this is the card that does it. Still looking at Crystron K9. Dark Strike Fighter is a card that they are toying around with. The card only has 2 printings, and it's a super rare in both, I believe, and both cards are like $6, $7 a copy. This does see some play in Edison, I believe, which is what causes it to kind of have some form of a price tag, but because Crystron K9 is toying around with this, it went up in price. So it's really, as far as I know, just a time card. I could be wrong, so Crystron K9 players in the comments, feel free to correct me, but as far as I'm aware of, it is just a time card for the deck, and it's whatever. Still not done with Crystron K9. We're looking at Clockwork Knight. We are going to look at the Ultra Rare and the QCR. The Ultra Rare is being affected, so Crystron plays this as a link one, just to kind of get like any of their Crystrons in the graveyard. They just like normal summon Smyger, link it away for Clockwork Knight. There you go. And sure enough, it's like an $8 card. This card has been creeping up in price for a long time now, since its release, because Crystron has slowly been seeing more and more play since the release of the support. And Clockwork Knight has, again, as a result, slowly been creeping up since basically YCS Orlando. So this card is up to about $7, $8 as of now, and I can only see it going up. However, the QCR, it's about $40 a copy, and like I said, it's not really moving, and for the most part, it's a one-of. So if you're gonna pick up max rarity of like Crystron K9, might as well just pick up the max rarity Clockwork Knight right out the gate. Like, again, it's only $40, and like it's pretty much just a one-of. Contact C, this card has 4 copies, 4 printings, and it is a super rare in only one of them, and the rest are commons. It's a super rare from an OTS pack, and this card, I don't know how to feel about this. So this card is seeing some form of play because it is one of the few ways to beat Yummy. Like, if Yummy activates Obedience School, summons a bunch of bodies, and you know, then you activate this card in your hand, summon Contact C to their board, they then cannot continue playing until they, you know, link this away or fusion, synchro, or exceeds it away. The problem is that they are locked into beasts, which means if they're not playing like a generic link to beast monster like Cross Sheep, they're in trouble. And because of that, like I said, it is seeing some play. We did see Triff have it in his topping list in his side deck for most likely this exact matchup of Yummy, and about $4 a copy now. It's kind of all over the place, as you can see. For the most part, if it's a verified seller, it is about $4 a copy, and it is starting to get bought out. this might be a card that you might just want to pick up just to say you have it and, you know, be prepared if this card sees more play. I think Contact C is kind of like in the same boat as like Nibiru in a sense, where obviously this is more targeted at Yummy, whereas Nibiru is generic, but Yummy players won't respect this card, and because they're not respecting this card, this will see side deck play. But the moment that Yummy players start respecting this, then it starts getting kicked out of the side deck, and then vice versa. It just kind of goes into a vicious cycle of whether or not they're respecting the card. Black Goat Laughs. This card has been seeing play since its literal printing back in Fine Eye, and it has just been good nonstop ever since. And yeah, it has been, you know, constantly up and down based on the format, but it is seeing massive amount of play in the current format because you can just, you know, send this card to the graveyard off of a multitude of different card effects and then banish it and just call Yummy Snatchy or call Izuna or just call a multitude of different cards and just tell your opponent, no, you can't do anything, fuck you. And because of that, this card's up to like $35. Now, this has been confirmed for a reprint in the Mega Tins, so I don't know if I can recommend picking this card up, especially since in most deck lists this is a one of. I've very rarely seen this card played at more than one copy. And yeah, like I said, just pick it up from the Mega Tins. Just buy a single copy from the Mega Tins. It'll probably be like $5-6 upon release of the Mega Tins, especially since if the tins are poorly printed like they have been the last couple years. Let's talk about Pot of Extravagance, and this card has a lot of printings. One, because it was in Rarity Collection, the alt art was in Stampede, it's been in a handful of different structure decks. This card has a lot of printings. The only ones we're going to be talking about today are the QCR and the QCR alt art. QCR alt art is sitting at about $15, and the QCR of the Rarity 1 is also about $15 to $18. This card is seeing play because Vanquish Soul K9 was playing it, Vanquish Soul Pure was playing it before the K9 cards came out. It's just seeing play in like the decks that don't severely rely on their extra deck, which Vanquish Soul K9, even though the K9 cards kind of like the extra deck, they don't rely on it. And even so, they just play 3 copies of Ripper and like 3 copies of Werewolf and just call it a day. So again, they're not super dependent on their extra deck because the odds of them hitting all 3 Ripper or all 3 Rock of the Vanquisher, very low. Not impossible, because, you know, if you're Joshua Schmidt, you're going to hit all 3 rocks, but very rarely. That being said, this is a good card. If you want max rarity of Extravagance, I do think like $15 is fair, especially given a lot of other Rarity 1 QCRs are really expensive. I personally would say the original art is better than the alt art. I'm just not a big Eldritch fan, and they made the Extravagance alt art more Eldritch, so it's more a personal pick, but I would say the original art is better. And that's going to be it for today's Market Watch. Let me know what you all think down in the comment section below. Obviously, there are a lot of changes in the market, more for the Crystron K9 side of things, because a lot of people were underestimating that tech going into the format. And I even said, I believe in my tier list, that it's a real deck. Like, it is a very real deck, and it's very consistent, especially because of Scrap Recycler. So this video was pretty much just like the Crystron K9 episode for Market Watch, funny enough. But yeah, if you didn't pick up your Justice Hunter archetypes before YCS Vancouver, then you're definitely forking over the money now. We didn't look at the Vanquish Soul or K9 cards because they're all basically the same price as they were last time we looked at them, with some minor decreases, but nothing noteworthy at the moment. Other than that, though, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like on this video, and also subscribe to the channel if you're not already and like competitive-based content. But with that, I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.